Welcome to Politics Done Right on KPFT. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Give me a call at 713-526-5738. That is 713-526-KPFT. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, folks. Welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for spending this 1 hour with me. Shannon, how art thou doing? That my engineer, my producer, how is it all doing, my friend?
You're too good to me. I'm doing great. It's good to be here with you another Thursday.
And we're going to have a great show, right, Shannon?
You better believe it.
And look, it's a special show. We're going to talk about the election. Of course, we're going to talk about the election, but we are also going to speak about quite a few other things as well. So we're going to have a good show. And do remember as well, folks, that we're in fund drive mode. So what does that mean?
That means we need you.
Right. But you know what, Shannon? I want to tell the folks, don't leave, because we are not going to be just asking for your money and not giving you something. In other words, we're not going to be saying all through this show, give me money, give me money, give me money. It's not going to be that. We're going to be saying, folks, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to get here.
Yep.
That is what we want to show you, what you're going to get. We want you to be a family member of Progressive Radio here in Texas. I say Progressive Radio, but we are community radio.
Oh, yes.
We have a progressive bent, but we're community. This floor is open to anybody. Am I right?
That is so true. I mean, you call in each week to 713-526-5738, and we bring you on the air, and we're part of the discussion. It's driven by you. Sometimes the conversation changes altogether based on what you bring up in this new factor that's critical. You know, we basically bring up issues that are critical to our community and our nation today, something that just examines life a little closer.
So you know what, Shannon, I love that you said, I don't know, you know, my mind is kind of going sometimes, but the way you tell folks, it's all about you.
Yes,
you know, because
it's
as
true.
community radio, you have input here. In fact, I'm here as well, Shannon, on Facebook Live, and we have people. We have Kevin. We have Christy Lara. We have Barbara Madera. People are forming a part of this new thing that we have here. So, folks, give us a call at 713-526-5738. 713-526-KPFT.
KPFT. And you know, when you donate, you're becoming not only a member, but you have a little stake, an investment in this community radio station. It shows that it not only matters to you, you're a participant. And you participate every week by calling in as well. But it's just something a little bit more intimate. We get to know you a little closer.
Absolutely, folks. But you know what? Let's kind of get the show going, Shannon. What do you think?
Because we stick to the issues.
We stick to the issues.
We want to make sure we bring you the content you love.
Absolutely, folks. Anyway, folks, today, what is the show going to be? And you know what, Shannon? Guess what I did once more that I think it's becoming a habit that we should break. And guess what? Guess what's that habit?
You put up the wrong blog?
Did you have to shame me on air like that?
You asked me.
I did ask you, didn't I? So she shamed me on blog.
But you have so many interesting blogs.
Well, you know what? I want to go special with this stuff here, though, because this one is special. Come on, internet, work. But since I wrote it, I know what it says. But here we go. We are going to have a great show today. We will talk about the GOP abuse of their evangelical voters and Republicans in general. Not bad about Republicans. They're saying we're talking about what Republicans have done to their evangelicals voters. Not good. As you know who would say, not good. Believe me. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Believe me. Okay. Of course, we will discuss the election in general, including why down-ballot voting is just as important as the top of the ticket. So, folks, remember that. just at the top of the ticket. Oh, they can't hear very well, Shannon. I guess I better turn this thing up. Now tell me, my Facebook listeners, if you can hear Shannon now. Can you hear Shannon now?
Hello, 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 hello.
Okay, folks, we hope you can hear Shannon on Facebook, because I just went ahead and I think I turned her up appropriately. Anyhow, folks, remember to vote early. You can vote early at any early voting location in Harris County, irrespective of where you live. If you need to know where to vote, go to harrisvotes.org. harrisvotes.org. Don't forget that. harrisvotes.org. That is very, very...
So that you can participate in this democratic process.
Absolutely.
Do your civic duty. Make sure because you have nothing to complain about if you don't vote.
Absolutely.
Because your vote counts.
Your vote definitely counts. And folks, the other thing I want to stress is vote early. Go to early voting. It's a lot better for you because you don't have to form lines. And not only that, but you can vote anywhere in town. You don't have to find your own precinct. But we need every person listening to The Voice, every person listening to the podcast, every person listening to the videocast, the vlogcast. You must vote. Vote appropriately. Vote your interest. Don't vote necessarily your ideology. Vote what is in the best interest of you
and the nation,
the
and
nation,
your
your family, your community. Thank you very much, Shannon. Exactly
because
right.
If you only vote based on what's good for your line of employment,
Right.
or not what's good for the earth or the nation,
Absolutely.
as a whole, then what are we doing?
Oh, okay. You see why it's great having folks listening to you in real time. Barbara Madera told me that I am wrong. It's harrisvotes.com, not harrisvotes.org. So my apologies. harrisvotes.com. Don't forget that, folks. Let me see if I wrote it right. I got to fix it on the blog as well. I'll fix it on the blog afterwards. Anyway, folks, if you are in any other state of the country, you can still get information on how to vote, including where you are at. Please remember to go to coffeepartyusa.com/vote anyway. Scroll down, and no matter what state you're in, we will give you instructions. In fact, we may even tie you directly to your county office so that you can register to vote. It's done in Texas. Registration is done, but in other states, it's still going off. But before I get to the show, I need to thank several donors to KPFT's Politics Done Right. And these donors are, as we speak, Bonnie Corman, a new member from Taos, New Mexico.
All right. Thank you, Bonnie from New Mexico. That's so cool. That it's nice to know that we reach certain communities outside of our broadcasting
Well, that's
zone.
new radio, folks. We are not only on air, but we are on Facebook. We are on
the
podcasts, internet, everywhere else. So, folks, you know that you have, and when we start taking calls again, your voice will be heard all over this nation, all over the world when you speak to us, because you know what the folks do out here at KPFT? We are pushing these values throughout the world, not just the country, not just the state, throughout the world. Also, I want to thank Zumaya Publications LLC of Austin, Texas. They gave us a generous contribution, just like Bonnie Corman gave us a generous contribution.
Very cool. Thank you.
Zumaya Publications. It sounds better when you say Zumaya Publications.
Zumaya Publications.
There you go. And now this name is going to be a bit difficult for me, but I'm going to try. Sashikanth Daharmanola, new member from Houston, Texas. So we have in these first these three online donors, two new users, one returning member.
Wonderful.
We so kindly appreciate your
That is really nice to be
contribution.
able to bring more people into the family and know that you're out there, you know?
And you know that we're bringing them not only here from Texas, but from around the country, which is very important. And you know, last draft we actually got one from England. Yes.
That is so
so cool, isn't it? But folks, please call 713-526-5738.
Thank you each and every one of you donors, because we make it dollar by dollar. We are just depend on you. We're almost 100% sponsored by our listeners. And that's something to be proud of, but it is a hard thing to live by.
Absolutely. Folks, we are by necessity in another fund drive to keep this gem, KPFT 90.1 FM Houston, on air. We need you to call 713-526-5738 and become a member. Renew your membership or simply give a contribution to ensure we keep an avenue for open progressive information flowing. Something sadly missing in our area and many areas throughout the country. So you can also donate online at kpft.org or just give us a call at 713-526-5738. Before I get to the program, Shannon, I want to remind all our listeners that KPFT is a bastion of intelligent voices and programs. As a political activist myself, my favorites are The Monitor with
Mark Bobowie
at
7 p.m. on Mondays.
Then there's Think Wing Radio with
Mike Koenig
on
Mondays at 9 p.m.
Then we have Partisan Gridlock with
Jeff Berg
on
Fridays at 3.
And you do that show as well. I'm going to have
yes.
to tell Jeff you can't just have that. Well, anyway, let's go to the other.
No, it's so much fun working with him. He cracks me up
I know,
the entire
he's cool.
show.
He is cool.
You know, I might have my mic off, but I'm laughing, and I laugh on the air, of course, too.
I know. Of course, we have Open Journal with
Marlo Blue, Dwayne Bradley, and our very own Harry Van Bogle. And she's very talented. They're all very talented.
every day at
8 a.m. right here on KPFT and every weekday morning.
Absolutely. Then we have, of course, Jazz Latino, Afro-Cuban Latin Jazz at its best, hosted by
Juan Flores
on
Mondays at 10. And he also has a show on the HD3 channel today on
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
From noon till, I think, is it from 11 till 2 or noon till 2? Anyway, check it out. Just go to kpft.org where we have our schedule. So check out all our full schedules at kpft.org where you can find programming from music to politics to medicine to the eclectic. KPFT is a listener-supported public community radio station. So please remember that if you like what you hear, visit kpft.org and ensure we remain strong, viable, a community radio station that is ready to serve whom? To serve
We the people.
We the people. We the people. This is KPFT 90.1 FM Houston, Texas. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your thoughts. And today, we want your support. Mm-hmm. Today, we need your support. Today is a day that you tell folks, yes, you want progressive radio. So please call 713-526-5738. But folks, do you know what time it is?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay, folks, I tell you something. I saw a snippet of Mike Pence on TV talking to his flock. And notice I said his flock. I didn't say his pew, I didn't say his voters. I meant his pew or his flock. Here it goes. Mike Pence in his speech shows how little he thinks about the intelligence of his followers as he tells them they saw a Trump apology never given. Using his voters' faith against them was what? Obscene. It was obscene, folks. Here it goes. We are called to live godly lives, Mike Pence said, but also recognize that we all fall short. And it is not about condoning what is said and done. It is about believing in grace and forgiveness. Man, the guy sounds like a preacher. As Christians, we are called to forgive, even as we have been forgiven. And I would submit to you last Sunday night, my running mate showed humility. He showed what was in his heart to the American people. And then he fought back and turned the focus to the choice we face. And it is a more dramatic choice than in any time, in any election in my lifetime. It truly is. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Might as well he had it said, that's what I'm going to hypnotize you about, indoctrinate you about. Look, folks, to be clear, Donald Trump did not apologize. He attributed his obscene, lewd, sexist, sexual assaulting behavior to locker room banter. I am sure most locker rooms do not condone speech promoting sexual assaults against women. Andy Crouch, executive editor of Christianity Today, wrote a piece titled, Speak Truth to Trump. Evangelicals of all people should not be silent about Donald Trump's blatant immorality. That all evangelicals and others should heed. They should heed his message. And it goes as follows. Indeed, there is hardly any public person in America today who has more exemplified the earthly nature, flesh in the King James and the literal Greek that Paul urges the Colossians to shed. Sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires and greed, which is idolatry. 3-5, that's a part of the Bible. The guy knows his stuff. This is an incredibility apt summary of Trump's life to date. Idolatry, greed, and sexual immorality are intertwined in individual lives and whole societies. Sexuality is designated to be properly ordered within marriage, a relationship marketed or marked by covenant, faithfulness, and profound self-giving and sacrifice. To indulge in sexual immorality is to take oneself and one's desires an idol. That Trump has been his whole adult life an idolater of this sort, and a singularly unrepentant one, should have been clear to everyone. And therefore, it is completely consistent that Trump is an idolater in many other ways. He has given no evidence of humility or dependence on others, let alone on God, his maker and judge. He wantonly celebrates strong men and takes every opportunity to humiliate and demean the vulnerable. He shows no curiosity or capacity to learn. He is, in short, the very embodiment of what the Bible calls a fool. I love that. I'm not a church-going person. I am a humanist, but most of my friends, a lot of my friends, understand this from a biblical perspective. Now, last week I wrote a piece titled Evangelical Contortions to Support Donald Trump, a Travesty to Christianity, where I said the following. And folks, I grew up going to church. I grew up doing all this. So I understand the concept of those of the evangelicals. In fact, when I was at the University of Texas for some time, I spent time in Maranatha Christian Center, which was pretty tight in following a lot of the scriptures. We had some problems when it came to political activism, but that's for another show. Anyhow, this is what I said. Many religious leaders are causing the destruction of religion itself. Why? Many merged politics, religion, and capitalism as the definition of Christianity itself. It's true that Pope Francis is attempting to re-inject a lost morality, but he is only one man. He may be too late to get the American evangelicals. Evangelicals contort themselves into knots to find justification to vote for Donald Trump, a man one of their own. Steve Deace described as anathema to all their values in a piece he wrote warning Christian leaders about the hypocrisy of voting for Trump. Folks, after the 2016 election, one hopes that the force that is the evangelical movement will be exposed for what it is. The movement is nothing more than one that exploits the faith and ignorance of its followers for the monetary gain of a corrupt few. That's the blog of the week, folks. Please remember, we are in fund drive mode. We're going to talk some more politics, but please give us a call at 713-526-5738. What do we have out of Ledge Central, my dear friend? Anybody out there?
Oh, we certainly do. We have Ted out there.
Ted, talk to me.
Well, I just want to report that I just received an email from the general manager of our radio station saying that we are going to have a local station report to the community on the last Friday of this month. So people will be able to find out what's going on politically here at KPFT. But right now, the phones out here are very quiet. And as a consequence, we are not able to say that we are bringing in any money. So I hope some people will call at 713-526-5738.
Okay, folks, that's 713-526-5738. We need your calls. Give us a call, 713-526-5738. Folks.
This is our last shot to raise to raise money for Politics Done Right. This is the last Thursday of our fund drive, so we really need your support. If you enjoyed this program, if you enjoy the issues we cover each week, we kind of delve into some sticky situations sometimes, some things that really need to be, picked up and examined. And if you appreciate that, if you see the value in having a whole hour to look at and to share, to communicate, that's something rare. You don't have this kind of access anywhere else.
Absolutely, folks. So look, this morning I was doing I kind of came on the morning show And I was telling Dwayne, he was telling folks, if you have friends that are working for the Koch brothers, go ahead and still give the donation because Koch brothers give matching funds.
Oh, that is so true.
And
matching is a great way of
yes.
doubling your donation. If you work for one of those corporations that participate in the matching program,
Absolutely.
that for nonprofits, they will match your donation dollar for dollar. And a lot of these, we don't take corporate donations.
Right.
We are not commercially funded.
Right.
But this is one way in which we can.
In an interesting way, because at the heart of the donation came from the employee, somebody who likes us. But the other thing I was telling Dwayne earlier is I said, hey, you know what's interesting? Once we get a matching fund from Koch, because I usually use the phrase, they have Koch, we have you. Meaning they have the Koch brothers, we have you. I usually said I can't use that anymore because by that time we would have some. But folks, we need your calls so badly. 713-526-5738.
Well, they wouldn't donate normally at all. That's
know.
only because they've agreed in their contracts to have a matching
Absolutely.
program. So it's pretty cool. We get to have those kind of funds coming in. But that's only if, just go to your HR department and see if your company participates in that. But there's so many different ways. If you decide to become a sustainer, you can decide, I want to just put in $10 per month. It's less than a subscription or getting cable television.
Absolutely.
And that way you are supporting your community radio station and you're a member.
And you get so much more.
Exactly. And when you have cable, you're not a member.
Right.
You're a subscriber. It's different. The relationship is totally
Absolutely.
different. And it's something special because this is your community. You can walk in here and talk to the hosts and talk to them on the air, of course, just the same way. But it's something special because it's community supporting community. Because Egberto's a volunteer. So many of our programmers, most of our programs are volunteers. I'm lucky enough to be the afternoon operations coordinator, but it's a shoestring budget, believe me. And it gives me the opportunity to work with such a slew of hosts.
Wait a minute. You're I call you still the mostly volunteer for the amount of hats that you wear around here and the amount of stuff that you do around here. You're a hell of a volunteer.
Thanks.
But look, folks, 713-526-5738. We need to hear those phones ring in. 713-526-5738. Look, we know you have all this mess now with Donald Trump. Donald Trump should have never become the person who became the leader of the Republican Party, if you will. I mean, one of the reasons that occurred is that the media was enamored with Trump because he brought eyeballs, he brought clicks.
They thought he was funny. They thought it was humorous and it was just a circus. And it is still a circus,
yes,
but it's a sad one.
But now the current media, they're trying to clean up their act in starting to judge him the way he needed to have been judged. But what's interesting, Shannon, is one of the reasons why we do need a KPFT is whereas all those guys were messing around and fuddling with Trump and giving him the fifth degree and giving him opportunities, we were always on the ball. We were always we were always delivering news that the news wouldn't tell you back about Trump. I don't know if you remember some of the blogs that we did back yonder when he was still a part of the 16 or 17 other folks that were running, and we would come out there and we would tell you this is what this guy represented. This is what's been going. None of our listeners were ever tricked by Trump. None of our listeners were ever tricked by Trump.
Because we want to make sure it's not entertainment we're going for. We're coming here to inform you.
Absolutely.
And so often the news and public affairs programs are just sheerly about what entertains and what dissolves quickly in your mouth and not what's going to be wholesome and continue to help you understand the world around you.
Absolutely. Folks, 713-526-5738. I don't hear those phones ringing. 713, they are dead as molasses. They are absent. The sounds are not there. We need your calls. 713-526-5738. Show them that there's a reason for keeping KPFT on air. Show them that there's a reason for keeping Politics Done Right on air. Let us know that we are appreciated for doing what we're doing. We do this because of love for community, love for station, love for making sure that folks remain informed. So again, 713 526-5738. Hey, you want to give a good reason, Ted, for why you believe people should give to KPFT?
I don't think you're going to hear anything on the regular radio stations or even some of the non-commercial radio stations that you hear on KPFT. Egberto, as you know, I just got back from a trip to a wedding in Israel where my niece and nephew and my sister live, and I brought back with me a editorial from the English language newspaper in Israel, Haaretz. This is something that you've said you're going to read this afternoon, and it would seem to me that this will be the kind of cutting-edge information that most radio stations in the United States do not share. While I was on this trip, I picked up a copy of the International New York Times, and in it they were reporting about a conference that was held in Athens, Greece on democracy. And the columnist from the New York Times, Roger Cohen, gave an opening speech where he said he thought the conference on democracy was going to be a confident celebration, but instead it became an anxious interrogation. He said the problems of democracy are deep and can no longer be ignored.
Thank you for that call.
And cannot be righted in short order. Well, KPFT is a manifestation of democracy at the grassroots level. The people who control the direction of this radio station are the local station board. Our members are the people who elect the local station board. We should hear in a few days who will be on the board next year. We just completed one of our elections, and we want people to be involved in this radio station. This Saturday, the committee that I chair, the Anti-Racism and Diversity Committee, that is trying to build our audience in the minority community, and minority is defined in every way possible. We are meeting from 10 a.m. to noon at the Gregory School, the African American Library in Freedmanstown, and we want our listeners to be involved in this radio station by contributing at 713-526-5738, but also by coming to our meetings.
Ted, I just heard that some phones rings. Are we taking some pledges down there?
According to my colleague here at the table, Rick Potoff, no, we are not. So.
Okay, folks, we need you to call 713-526-5738. Hey, Tony just walked in. Tony, how's it going, my friend?
Well, we are expecting your call here, 713-526-5738. I just want to thank you for being here for us in politics, man. You know, I save a question for you every week.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, it's amazing to me that we have a station that will put you on the air with not having to sell 1,000 different things.
Yes.
And let you come in here and do what you do best. You are political all the way from your blog to your show. You live it, you breathe it. During the Democratic conventions, you were out there. I saw you.
Listen, man, that is what we do. That is what I always talk about we, right? Because I think we all inspire each other for the things that we do out here. And not only that, we are inspired by you folks that are listening to us, which is one of the reasons we do what we do. Is that right, Tony?
Absolutely. Give us a call here at KPFT. This is a place where not only people come in and do shows that you wouldn't hear anywhere else, but this is a place where people come in and they learn, they grow. That is KPFT. That is what we've been here for the last, 45, 46 years?
Oh, yeah.
Give us a call. 713-526-5738 is the number to call. We know you're out there. If you're on the freeway, you can pull off.
And
give us a call.
And you know what, folks? I tell you what, I'm going to institute a little something here that we haven't done before.
Yes.
Do you have a question for our show right now? You know, right, whenever you call now, you're going to Flood Central.
Yes.
Call in. Make a contribution, and if you make a contribution as well, go ahead and ask a question that you want answered out here about what's going on in politics right now that you must have an answer now.
And make sure it's a tough one.
Yes, so go ahead.
Make sure it's a difficult one.
Absolutely. Call 713-526-5738. Give us a call. Make a donation. Ask some. Tell a person, hey, once you're writing this stuff down, tell Egberto to answer this stuff for me. Because look, we're serious here. The only way we stay on air is if we continue to get the contributions from our loyal listeners.
Yes.
And as Dwayne would say, our general manager, we only get 6% buy-in from many of our listeners. We need a whole lot more than that. I mean, if we were up to 15% of our users, we would only probably come what Shannon, twice a year, if that much.
Yes.
It would be a pretty sad day.
Right.
I mean, right now we only have the people that pre-pledged. We have not received any donations via phone. Or I mean, Robin's upstairs. She would have told us if they have pre-pledged online as
Right.
well. So please, we need to hear from you. We need your support. Your financial contribution is vital to this radio station.
I cannot tell you how many calls I've gotten where people are just loving your show.
Folks, please show the love with some contributions to Politics Done Right for KPFT. 713-526-5738. Look, I do understand. I honestly do understand that you have all the politicians, because of where we are in the political thread, that are constantly hounding people for money. Now, the truth of the matter is, yes, a lot of these politicians want your money now, and when you're done giving your money, that's it. What you have with KPFT is an ongoing proposal. You have an ongoing organization that is really there for you.
Yes.
And what's really cool is the history of Pacifica. We have it's not only so many archives of fascinating people over the years that is part of our collection from the Pacifica Network, say like with Malcolm X.
Right.
We have these $90 level. We have so many of his speeches he's given across the United States.
Yeah, why don't you tell us some of what we have to offer?
It is so cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a special day out there because Bob Dylan
Yes.
won
a Nobel.
Yes, and so we have special Pacifica Radio archives of Bob Dylan when he in 1962, and a number of other, and as well as him playing over at the Skip Wesner show. I'm not saying this right, but on February 63, different tracks. There's 5 different tracks of him at WBAI, and it is something to be cherished.
How much is
and
that going
special.
for?
That's at the $90 pledge level. We can get that to you.
And
Yes.
folks, remember, whenever Shannon or any one of us say $90 pledge or whatever, that can be broken down on a monthly basis. At $90, how much is that per month that they get their credit card gets?
Well, if you divide it up, let me take a good
actually,
look.
it's right here, $7.50.
It's less than a quarter a day.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and once you've paid the majority of that, we will send you those archives. It's 3 hours and 47 minutes of Bob Dylan.
A Nobel
Back-
Peace Prize winner.
Yeah, and that was back in his early career, when he's in his early 20s. So it's really something to be cherished, and I'm excited about
What else
it
do we
for
have?
sure. Oh, so much more. I mean, there is such a list, and we always have great shows coming into town, and so much more. We have your book, of course.
Oh, yeah, tell me a little bit about that. What are we offering?
You want me to tell you about your book?
Yeah, tell
I think you would be an expert by now, but I'll tell you. It's at the $90 level. We can give you Egberto's book. What is going on in there? But in a combo, if you want his T-shirt and a book, that's at the $150 level. It has you casting the ballot, making sure, because Egberto's all things vote. Make
Gotta
sure
vote.
you cast that ballot. It has an
Yes, sir.
American flag on it, and that you can walk around town and show everybody that you love politics done right. But no, you tell us about your book.
Now, folks, if you want to learn about our politics, really, if you want to see how our politics really work in a very simple manner, how it interacts with the media, how it interacts with what I call the Powell Manifesto, how it interacts with just the average. If the average person wants to know why we get taken for granted, if the average person wants to know why the politicians can do what they do to us, go ahead and get the book. It's what's the pledge level for a book? $90
level,
for
the
the
same
for the
thing,
book.
less than a quarter
Less
a day.
than a quarter a day. $90, or the T-shirt for Politics Done Right and the book is at $150.
Yes.
And just call 713-526-5738 and get that. And I promise you one thing: it's not only that you get the book, because I don't believe in only talking about our problems. I believe in what solutions do we have for solving our problems. And I am of the belief that we individually, collectively can actually make a difference. And how do you make a difference collectively? Or first, individually, you understand what the problems are. Once you understand what the problems are, collectively, you can solve them. And that's one of the reasons I do what I do, why Shannon does what she does, why Tony does what he does, because we know that if we can get together, we can solve problems. So, but at first, you have to sort of know what's going on. So give us a call at 713-526-5738. And our phones are still dead. We need to hear from you, folks. 713.
All we need is just that one person who believes in the show to call us right now. Once we get that one phone call, once we get that first person to believe in the show, then there's going to be another person who says, you know what? Let me be the second person.
Absolutely. And what is so interesting, right? What is so interesting is a lot of folks always wait until the end. Let's do it now so that we can get into talk. Because, Ted says, hey, Berta, there's a good thing for you to check out for your users. But unless I start getting people to give us a call and so that we can have information here, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. So give us a call at 713-526-5738. Let's start getting our phones ringing, and let's start getting help to KPFT.
Yeah, get involved. It looks like Rick is taking down the first pledge, which is a very good thing. Thank you. We want to thank you very soon, but I want to thank you next.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Please call in 713-526-5738 and get involved, participate. And you know that you love this show. Egberto donates so much of his time. He is all things activist. When I go out in the community, so many people know his name, not only politicians, not only organizers, grassroots, all around the United States. He was at the DNC. He was at Grassroots Nation. He puts his own resources out there to bring you the content.
The best news out there.
On the ground. And that's something to be cherished. Not many people are willing to sacrifice their weeks, their weekends, everything in between. He is a devoted activist. And that is something so cool to have here at KPFT because it embodies our mission.
It is our mission. Mm-hmm. It is all of our missions. And, I get a little bit uncomfortable when they say, oh, he does that, he does. One cannot really, we're a community, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to get our listeners to kind of understand it isn't one person doing all of this. It's everybody that allows all of us to do the things that we do. I've sent Shannon taking a look at some blogs and saying, Egberto, what were you smoking when you wrote that word? I mean, that's not even grammatically correct. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, Egberto, come on. Or when Tony said, hey, Egberto, what's up, man? The other day, Tony sent me a message on Facebook, and he's like, what do you mean? And then I had to reply back to Tony, and I said, well, Tony, this is actually what. Oh, okay, then I'm with you. But, so I mean, we all absorb we learn from each other. We have conversations here. It is really a family event here. As we learn together, we have activism together, and we move forward, and you can be a part of it. Whether you are in here or whether it's with your contributions or whether it is with you on the ground with us, you are here. But Ted, does Ted have anything to talk to us about? Any contributions yet? Or are they still taking it? Come on in, Ted.
We just received a pledge, and it's sort of in the process, but it's a nice amount of money.
All right.
So come back to me in a few moments, and I'll fill you in on the details.
Thank you, Ted. But folks, we need a lot more calls from you because let me tell you, Shannon, the last 2 weeks haven't been good for Politics Done Right. People like to listen to the show, and then at the end, when it's time to call, it's like, so I try to hold back and say, okay, folks, I'm not going to talk about much now, so go ahead and make those calls now. I'm not going to be talking about much. Go ahead and make those calls, please. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is...
Yeah, 713-526-5738. We cannot do this without you.
Absolutely not. Folks, we really need you because, again, let me first talk about all our programmers, producers here. They are all unpaid volunteers because they feel they have a mission. They have Pacifica's mission, and they have the mission of their own, and all the missions of their own has that big word in there called community, la comunidad.
And it kind of blows people's mind when they first hear that because they go, what do you mean?
Right. This station runs This station runs mostly on people volunteering their time and volunteering. When
it's
I write
passion driven.
when I write a blog, the blog isn't just here. The blog is thought out. When we have about a program, it's thought out elsewhere, and we sit down and we talk and we bring in things by osmosis or whatever, and then come out with it. So we are devoted to the cause. We are devoted to our causes here. We have all kinds of programs, from the veggie program that folks that are devoted to being vegetarians to everything.
Yes, we have such a diversity of shows and programs for every subject. It's really quite amazing. I mean, we come in right after Generation Radio.
Right.
Man, those guys rock.
great, yeah.
I have
Absolutely.
such a great time listening to them, and they bring in their creative energy to make that happen.
Absolutely, folks. So we need you to call 713-526-573. Look, I say this sometime ad nauseum, right? One of the problems that we have with progressive radios, as opposed to the right-wing hacking radio that I find on the that we find, and my conservative friends would say the same thing. My conservative friends, real conservatives, aren't fans of Rush Limbaugh. They aren't fans of Hannity or all the other guys. They're not fans of these guys. But these guys are very well funded, so they can have an overbearing effect. They can have an overbearing effect on folks, right? They can control our media. They can control people's thoughts because they're so well funded. Stations like KPFT, Politics Done Right, we are funded by the nickels and the dimes and the dollars and so forth that you guys provide to us, because we don't have anything to, to sell. We don't sell your souls. We don't sell your minds.
We don't sell our content.
We don't sell, exactly.
Like what we do, we don't provide any commercials. We do not have corporate funding, so that we can stay focused on you.
Absolutely.
On the information you deserve to know, unfettered, untainted. We're just here to provide you with information.
But look, let me tell you, the one thing, Shannon, that I find sometimes distressing, and by this I mean, sometimes I'm distressed by it, because you do this day in and day out, and you see the corporate media makes fun out of people by the type of news that they get. I mean, if you look at all the news stations all at once, they're all talking about the same thing at the same time. And not even, when I say at the same, I mean, you can talk about Trump, but you can talk about several different angles of Trump. We don't get that on the news media. We just get one angle on Trump, one angle on Clinton. And there's a reason why, and that is the sort of mind control that occurs, the groupthink that occurs in the general purpose media. And the groupthink is always aligned with our corporatocracy, if you will. Then they are generally marched on, or they're generally allowed to occur by a right-wing media that, again, that I said is always very well funded. So they can go out and say the most outrageous things that they need to say, and they can try to do as much convincing as they can, and they reach a whole lot more people than we can reach based on our own funding. And we ask why the country continues to vote against its own interests. To which I say, the solution really is you. The solution really isn't that we can't get Rush Limbaugh or all these guys to stop doing what they're doing, but we can do what we're doing, and we can expand. We can increase our reach. Did you want to say something, Shannon?
Oh, well, yeah, we can if you put if you made the call that made the difference and put your money where your interests lie.
Yeah.
Then we could do so much more.
But the thing about it, Shannon, is we need to, and the folks that are listening to me, all of you that are listening to me, you have to make a difference. We have to make a difference. We have to be the ones that make that change. Nobody else is going to do it for us, right? You sit down and you want to pull the hair out of your head when you listen to Rush Limbaugh, but a whole lot of people listen to Rush Limbaugh and believe him because a lot of times there's not that alternative voice to talk. We are an alternative voice. We are the alternative voice that is there to present you with not only value but reality and truth. And that is what we're looking for. Now, Ted has anything to say yet, or is he still taking it? Okay, thank you.
Yes, we have a pledge on two pledges working, and we received a donation of $240 a few minutes ago.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That went so far.
You have a name?
The first name is what she wanted us to give, and it's Mecca.
Mecca, thank you so kindly. Let me tell you, Mecca, your contribution, your donation is very, very important, and it takes us a step closer. But it's not just about making our goals here, Mecca. It's a lot more than that. You are actually promoting the dissemination of truth. And I tell you that from the bottom of my heart. You just, with your hard-earned dollars, you have just taken us one step further in being able to stay alive, to go ahead and promote the appropriate types of messages, to appropriate narrative to our listeners and beyond. And I don't want to take that. I don't want that to be lost on that being a contribution. It is a very important contribution, and I can guarantee you that it is going to be very well spent only to keep this station on air. So, Mecca, thank you so kindly. Now, do we have two more on the phone right now, or?
We have one on the phone, and I just received a contribution from Wayne, living in Sunnyside Estates. So we definitely thank Wayne for his contribution. And, we are getting close to the goal, but the programs that preceded us, except for the first two of the day, did not make their goal. So we are playing catch up around here. But the Attitude with Arnie Arneson, it made its goal this morning and exceeded it, actually.
Great.
And the Tom Hartman Show. These are two amazing programs that people can listen to on the HD channel. They can go to it and listen to it on the archives. KPFT radio is not just live radio. We are live and more. You can listen to KPFT. You can listen to our 4 sister stations on the East and West Coast. You can listen to this program every week and for a number of weeks afterwards if you have something you want to share with a friend.
Well, Ted, and many of the programmers here also have websites where those podcasts live on forever. As an example, mine, politicsdoneright.com is where my blog post.
Your show.
My show lives. So we are a station with many. What is it called? Tentacles out there.
Oh yeah.
So
luckily, radio's evolved quite a bit, and so we're not only on terrestrial. We're not only, if you are here in Houston, you can listen almost anywhere.
Absolutely.
I like listening on Tuned In while I'm doing, say, laundry or getting things done, having coffee in the morning.
Absolutely.
That's how I tune in often.
Absolutely. So, folks, we have only 11 minutes left, so please give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738.
It was great to hear from Mecca and our friend in Sunnyside.
Absolutely,
Thank you both
Mecca,
very much.
And our friend in Sunnyside didn't want to give a name, Ted?
Just a first name, and the first name is Wayne.
Wayne.
Thank you,
wait, I did hear Wayne and Mecca. Thank you so kindly. Do we have the other one ready to go yet, Ted, or are they still taking it?
Rick is still working on it.
Okay. How many phones do we have available? Another phone
Wayne
available?
donated to Mike Honig's show the other night.
All right. Well, thank you, Wayne. Wayne, is that my good friend Wayne? Thank you very much, Wayne. We love you out here. Shannon has a big smile when your name comes on.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Now, we need more callers, though, folks. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738.
Here at Pacifica, we're here to not only inform you but also get you involved in your community and politically active, because once we have the public involved, then it serves your interests. Then the politicians must listen. Then there's exposure out there, and it's just like a ripple effect. That's the way civil engagement should be. That's the way we get plugged into our community and the larger world around us, and that's the way change happens. And that's really cool to be a part of here at KPFT. I think it's critical, and I'm just glad I found a place like KPFT.
Absolutely, folks. 713-526-5738. Shannon,
That's 713-526-5738 or KPFT.
Absolutely, folks. Like I was saying, I spoke to Mecca, Wayne, and or other callers. There's one of the Mecca, Wayne, and I think somebody else. Look, you guys make this happen, and whether I don't care if you're liberal, conservative, agnostic, Christian, atheist, or whatever. The one type of information that you want, the one kind of news you want, is unbiased news and even opinions. You want fact-based opinions. And that's what I guarantee you out of this show. Fact-based opinions. You may not necessarily agree with it. And if you don't agree with it, guess what we do here in this show?
We bring you on the air and we can discuss it.
We bring you on the air and we can talk about it. You got that right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of places where you can do that. You try to have a disagreeing point of view with Rush Limbaugh or Hannity. You don't even get on air.
Yep, that's right. And sometimes, there's different programmers that'll bring you on air quicker because they're really wondering, how do you support this policy?
Right.
I want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
People like Jeff. That's the way it goes with Jeff. And it's interesting.
Well, everybody have their style. My style is I like to bring people in. I don't care from whence you come. You come on in. And you know what? I have a thick skin, so I can take it. Anyway, Ted, you have anything else for us?
We're just about to get it, but and the phone is ringing again. So
there we go.
People are starting to come in. But, we've said that if we made the goal, and I think with the money that you brought in at the beginning, and what
guess what, Ted? I read while you were talking or whatever. I read some of the bottom of that thing, and I'll tell you right out on the top of my head. We have to wait on that one, and I'll talk to you about that later on. But anyhow, folks, 713-526-5738. The number is 713-526-5738. Give us a call, folks.
Well, Lori just called in, and she's from Houston, and she gave us a pledge of $120.
Lori, thank you.
Plastic.
Thank you very much, Lori on Plastic. You are a wonderful person, and you are responsible for keeping radio, keeping KPFT alive. And I say that genuinely. A lot of people ask for money, and I am telling you guys, all you guys that are giving to this show, you are really making a difference. When I speak about folks supporting their values, you are who I'm talking about. Folks supporting their values. And in supporting your values, you're supporting the values of thousands. And you are ensuring that thousands can actually receive those messages, the narrative that they're missing right now on mainstream TV, folks, or mainstream radio, or mainstream whatever media. 713, we need a lot more calls, folks. 713-526-5738, and Shannon is itching. We have a lot of ground to make up.
Yes,
Let me hear
last
it, Shannon.
week's. Please help us continue to make this bring this great content to you each week. It's so great to hear from, both the Johns, to hear from so many of you outside in the community. And we hear from just different areas every day. I start to learn your voices, and
yes.
I don't even have to get most of your names. I like to have them just so that we can triple check the system.
I love all our regular callers, but whenever you hear that voice that you don't know.
Yes, that we have more people getting involved every day, and that's liberating. That's actually participating in your community radio station, independent radio, without any government subsidies, any underwriting. It's just purely you, the people. That's something to be valued. Let's keep it in the people's hands. Your public radio station right here, 713-526-5738, or pledge online at kpft.org. And we have a slew of thank you gifts. There's so many things we offer straight out of the archives. Of the vault, as it were.
Yes.
But there's so much out there. I like, for the $75 level, that is paying for half of an hour of broadcast here at KPFT. You can get the KPFT mug. I like to either have tea, like for sleepy time tea, or any other beverage out of it. But it's cobalt blue, and I like it a lot. It's charming.
Absolutely.
But
folks,
whatever helps you participate, whenever you give a $25 pledge, you get a bumper sticker with your membership as well, and that makes you a voting member
Absolutely.
of this station. But if you can give more, it will go to good use. And you can become a sustainer here at KPFT so that you don't even have to think about it. You know that you've already paid it forward for what you're continuing to tune into.
Absolutely, folks. We need you. So we only have about 3 minutes, folks. Please give us a call, 713-526-5738. I really do need to hear from you now, 713-526-5738. Please help us reach that goal. Again, one more time,
713-526-5738.
Y lo voy a decir en español porque necesito a mis latinos que nos ayuden también. 713-526-5738. De nuevo, ese número es 713-526-5738. Por favor, llámenos que necesitamos su donación ahora. Si no lo recibimos, la radio KPFT no se queda en el aire. KPFT. You know, I actually, it's funny because I'm saying, I'm thinking in Spanish and English at the same time, and when I'm about to say K, it's K. You know, it's KPFT. You know, anyway. Llámenos, mis amigos, llámenos 713-526-5738, por favor, llámenos. Folks, we only have 3.5 more minutes. 713-526-5738. Please give us a call. We need your contributions now. Necesitamos tu contribución ahora mismo porque si quieres oír noticias, si quieres oír los programas que tenemos, tienes que usar tu plástico, tienes que usar tu dinero para ayudarnos darles. Muchísimas gracias, folks. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. We have about 2 more minutes to go, folks. Don't leave.
Don't let us down. This is your last chance. We have
Do we have phones available right now?
Yes, we do. Our volunteers are waiting to hear from you. Let's keep them busy.
Did we have, Ted, real quickly, I only got 30 seconds for you to tell me. Did we get any more?
No, we didn't.
Folks, we need to hear from you, folks. 713-526-5738. Please let us hear that phone ring. 713-526-5738. Am I going to hear the phone ring before I leave here? Come on, folks.
I certainly hope so. You know, it's so nice to hear from the public and hear from our listeners. It's like during Fund Drive, it's something special because people come in, walk in their donations, and just we get to know each other.
Absolutely. But you know what? Even if they don't, even if they make a call and they donate online, this is an open door policy at what our address?
It's 419 Levitt Boulevard.
Can you believe I temporarily forgot that?
Right here at the corner of Montrose and Westheimer. We're just a little bit off the beat of Westheimer, but barely. You can walk there like very quickly.
I just heard a phone ring.
Thank you for that call.
We need that call.
And it's just the heart of Montrose.
Absolutely.
It's such a charming community, and it's so funny that we have a radio station, but this used to be Radio Alley. There used to be so many radio stations on this street. But yet we're the last one standing.
Yes.
So let's keep this place a-going.
713-526-5738. We need you, folks. We need you. 713-526-5738, por favor. 713-526-5738. Folks, give us a call. This is Politics Done Right, and we are here to serve you. We are here to inform you. So, you know, Shannon just gave me that signal, like, Berto, we got to wrap it up and get the hell out of here now. Okay. 713-526-5738. If you call now, I'll take the last call in the room. Again, 713-526-5738. And talk to me. Give me a call and make a contribution. Bye-bye. This is Egberto Willies, Politics Done Right.
Thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. You can personally reach me by sending an email to egberto@politicsdoneright.com. Remember, Egberto is spelled E-G-B-E-R-T-O. Change starts with you. 90.1 KPFT gives you information not tainted by corporate interest. Please visit kpft.org and contribute. Let's ensure continued access to real information and news remain available to all. Again, thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right.